I welcome those who have joined us from the far-flung reaches of this very planet, regardless of where you are. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. We are under very serious and sustained attack this very evening. Some of you who are listening via Radio Biafra Facebook platform, you will notice that some of you are being removed unceremoniously. Our enemies are not relenting. Our enemies are not backing down. And as they continue to do all they can to frustrate this very divine project, we are renewed in our faith. Our strength goes from bound to bound, leap upon leap, because we are relentless, we are resolute, we are determined. It does not matter what the enemies do. It doesn't matter what they are likely to do tomorrow. One thing remains very constant. This very family, this very IPOB, this very mission to restore upon this very earth the wish of heaven must be accomplished in our time. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and by the very special grace of the Almighty in heaven, Chukwokika Biama Purimi Henine, irreducible, indivisible, only one God, the creator of everything that we see around us. Only by his grace we continue to serve the wonderful people of Biafra. As I welcome you, I will encourage you to welcome those who are around you. I will also ask you to bring your pen and your paper handy, because this is the very greatest university on the face of this very earth. We propagate the gospel of truth, the gospel of redemption. What this very generation is at the threshold of accomplishing has never been done before, and after we are on, it can never ever be attempted, because those we are fighting, or should I say those who are fighting against us, have limitless resources. They are buoyed by their criminal mindedness. They are encouraged by their terrorist tendencies. They are enthused by the support they are getting from Britain. But I sit here this very evening behind this very microphone, this very platform ordained by heaven to proclaim that no matter what they accomplish, no matter their plans, regardless of their conspiracies, regardless of everything within their powers they intend to do to stop this very project, they can never, ever, ever succeed, because IPOB is here. Because IPOB is here, Biafra is also here. And in our time, and the will of heaven shall prevail upon this very earth. That is why this evening I will pray a very common prayer to convey this very fact, to convey the inescapable reality that there is only one God in heaven, not two, not three, not four. Therefore, I will say the prayer of Yeshua. I will say the prayer of those who have come before us. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this very day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever, we pray. I say this very prayer this evening for one very simple reason: to underline the fact that there is only one God in heaven, not two, not three, not four. Everything that is born of a woman will bow before God in heaven. And why have I chosen this as an opening remark this very evening? Is to drive home the very fact that we anchor all we do on the grace and the mercy of God in heaven. Elohim, without whom we cannot accomplish anything. That is why we pray to him and to him alone, as Yeshua did in times gone by. Therefore, this very evening we shall preach the gospel of redemption, the gospel of restoration, the gospel of renewal, the gospel of hope, the gospel of liberation, that those who are privileged to listen might be set free from the damnable bondage or logical republic created by Britain and sustained by neo-colonialists, those who seek to gain from the suffering of the masses. That is why Biafra will come, and with it freedom for everybody. I say freedom for everybody, not just for the very few, but for all. This very evening, if you do not have your pen and paper handy, if you are not ready to receive this very gospel, then there is something fundamentally wrong with you. Because a lot is wrong with Nigeria, a lot is wrong with the zoo. People are being slaughtered like flies all over the place, impunity upon impunity, iniquity upon iniquity, damnation upon damnation, terrorism upon terrorism, the likes that this very generation has never seen nor heard before. Evil is happening on a daily basis. They have constrained themselves with lies that they can no longer see the truth, but we must preach it, and very hastily I must. We go and start with Imo State this very evening. The installation of a caliph stooge, the imposition of a Fulani servant, that very sadly some of you give money because of what you can gain from any incoming administration. You have refused to stand up to speak the truth concerning the travesty of justice, concerning the evil that is happening in Imo State, which once again next week the Supreme Court of the Zoo will have an opportunity to revisit, and they must revisit it. What we are trying to say this evening is that they only have one verdict to come to. We have analyzed, we have distilled, we have extrapolated all the figures, we have in every sensible way dissected the judgment, should I say, the skewed judgment of you in relation to Imo State gubernatorial elections. There is only one way out for them. I do not want those people with their horse wig who will be sitting sometime next week to determine what becomes of Imo State to think that the judgment they obtained in relation to Bielsa applies in the case of Imo State. It is very clear. What they are looking for is not any other part of Biafra land. What they wish to occupy is Owerri. For very spiritual reasons that some of you who are blind in spirit cannot see. The caliphate needs Owerri very much. They believe that if they can strangulate us from Owerri, we will collapse all other areas. Biafra is not important to them. What they're looking for is Imo State. I do not want people to be misled or led astray by the judgment that obtained in the Bielsa case and use that to justify what happened in Imo State. Whom is the Uj of the Fulani. He is a caliphate servant like his predecessor, should I say, the one that left a while ago, Rochas Okorocha, some of you know. We cannot allow whatever their plan may be regarding Imo to stand. So we are warning everybody listening. We are warning the whole world. I do not know who are making headlines, and frankly speaking, I do not care. What we care about is the welfare of our people, and what happens in Imo State affects everybody. Once you allow a Fulani stooge to be planted in Imo State, the same thing that happened to us during the time of Afonja will happen to us. Hope Uzodinma cannot be there. That we are assuring the world. Let those who do not understand where we are going be very clear about this. That what happened in Imo cannot be allowed to stand. In order to avert disaster and chaos, the Supreme Court of Nigeria must do the needful. The least they can do, I'm offering them a way out this very evening, is to call for fresh elections in Imo State. That is the only thing, that is the only sensible solution. There is no other justifiable reason to throw out figures that are not supported by those who are responsible for ensuring that elections are conducted in that very place, in this case INEC, and the police matter. The figures upon which the Supreme Court of Nigeria is basing their astute judgment or trying to seek the justification of the imposition of Hope Uzodinma on the people of Imo State cannot be sustained. It is unsustainable in law. It is unsustainable in sense. It is unsustainable before heaven. It is unsustainable before man on this very earth. Therefore, we reiterate very, very clearly and ambiguously, justice must be served. There is no need for them to seek to hide behind the facts that is the support. We can visit cases. That is absolute nonsense. You cannot base a judgment on lies. If they attempt, I repeat, if they attempt to justify the evil of the faith servant, the man have planted mistake to deliver the and the revelation of God, if they allow or seek to allow Hope Uzodinma to remain in power, anything they see they will take. We are in the world. We are a peaceful movement. But one thing we can't tolerate is for a bunch of people in Katsina, in Abuja, to determine what happened in Biafra land. It can happen. Hope Uzodinma can remain there because people did not vote for him. People not like him. As a matter of fact, no AP candidate was voted even to the assembly. Forget the fact that they are now carpeting to APC due to greed and hunger. Tomorrow they will come out and tell us that they are leaders. You can see the way there are some people on social media with fake names, trying to show support on social media platforms for Uzodinma. It is not going to work. You know who you are, all of you. From up to bottom. No who voted for Uzodinma to be glass, and he's not there. If they attempt any attempt, or any attempt to justify the imposition of Hope Uzodinma, I will dissect the judge one. So we are warning them before we come to our work. And as a reminder to those who may seek to use the Biafra to apply to Imo State, in Imo State, facts are clear. The court of Nigeria, when they inflated the number of registered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and I will spend my life ensuring that not one single judge Nigeria has for anymore. Should this trial be allowed to stand, I will make point of duty. This very IPO will endlessly pursue each and every single judge that will sit in judgment or seek to sustain is falsehood and evil. There's a way the Supreme Court of know the number of people that voted. The only agency authority charged with making sure that the actual number of people in the election reflected a free good process of is INEC. And I must say, as flawed as they are, of the to say that the non-accredited voters being quoted by the court of Nigeria. Not the thing I want to put on is, will you get your income from where? Did you get yours upon your justification? It. You're not you are police. You are state, you do not know. Get fast on the more have conducted print out boxes and have to try and make those that cannot be out of to have people that actually voted in Missouri. Is that that repeat to say because by the Supreme Court is void because they are in other words, court of Nigeria is involved in they are involved in electoral they involved in box kidnapping of Nigeria in secret is of course to the of them. It is not going well. Let the world we did not want it. Let nobody say that not still the mind of the people is not possible. That is the only which the world lost. That indeed to have we have in every case the support of Nigeria is itself and not all they had to do in answer is a version. But when people go and say, I want to see the answer. Not the judgment is rubbish because your judgment is based on line for us. No longer simple arithmetic. How many are arithmetic? At people grammar. Keep very, very simple. How many mistake? How many people are by the agency law to design? How many people? The numbers are very, very clear. How many people that have now determined voted? This matter at the time in every judgment by the Supreme Court of Nigeria is not is based on falsehood on we are just running the whole also for them, as I keep saying, to call for fresh elections, to say so many ways that election is forward. The only issue. That is the only way to resolve it. Anything else, we completely and only on because nobody voted for the killing in the zoo have continued. Continuing point out and very painfully, CNN hasn't covered it. BBC not covering all of those news rely upon the news of they call accurate, none of them it, and we are the reason why. The government is borrowing money to bribe CNN, to bribe BBC, to bribe the UK High Commissioner in Nigeria, bribe the staff at the US Embassy in Abuja and the consulate in Lagos. We know all of this. To bribe the EU representatives and every foreign mission. That is why they keep borrowing money. To bribe diplomats, to bribe observers, to bribe policymakers and independent commentators on what is happening in. That is why every day acting of innocent people they are not being reported by the they will not be. Now it is very good who I don't to flick convinced in 1967 the problem. To that clear that is not a problem. And I will apologize unreservedly to the people of Biafra for betraying them. Because I find it very bizarre that those who are at the forefront of subjugating people, those who are at the forefront of stealing resources of people, those who are at the forefront of reintroducing primitivity to day-to-day life in Nigeria, the same people in the past that said that dominate is to try and dominate others. Ask all those people, can you see happening? People are a problem, and somehow not do in your farms. The people seizing land for people, terrorists from across flooding your towns and villages to mark you. Somebody comes to you and says that person that the person telling you sitting in front of the problem. You must understand that. When somebody you and says maybe is the problem, look at the person, that person is the problem. Why am I saying this? Look at 1967. Those on the name of patriotism and love for our bride, how many after the mass of Biafrans, the essence of comes from long Igbo. Because of those said the Igbo the Zog is not long Igbo. Without reason. That is how with planically that's they replace each and every one of you. That was how successfully turned against the Ejuju. Turned middle bells. Thank them. Go on. They are fixed. But you are very miraculous. Exceptionally miraculous. Every pain inflicted upon Biafra, I know fully is to be very, very careful. Every evil thought, every evil and execute against north of Fulani and their vassals in the north. They have been in DP camps now. They don't call it refugee camps, of course. They named it. You know that thing I keep saying to you. Stop helping back here and safety agenda of and refugee and the ones trying all these with brown Yoruba all over themselves to do the bidding of Abba Akiyari and the flag rock. These are the same people responsible for the elections, responsible for the ongoing massacre of Jewish. These are the people who are responsible for these are people who are these are people who are defending the assault rifles to go hiding find that is what you do. That's what in zoo, and we must be alive. Let me just paraphrase Amadou Bello. We must be alive to our responsibilities. We must be alive because things are happening and people are, as I said before, that should be I will be going to the USA very soon, and in the USA I will make sure that we patent a DNA testing kit for some of our people in Biafra land, because the of evil we are now prepared to rate is unbelievable. What is happening now is unbelievable, and we cannot allow it to stand. Not today, not tomorrow. We have been crying on the same tune day after day, year after year. Before up, this way the that Zoo coordinated the British colonial experiment is being torn apart by terrorists, Islamic terrorists, or terrorists from the north. Is how the same is very organization is indeed real. When of that is come to do didn't it took you 5 years. That's 3 years. Mothers come that what this can only little. It's not body. The point now post the New York community about, and this is President Trump to rate of because you have out never the to the never. What is needed is a special envoy to be appointed by President Trump, assigned to come and investigate firsthand what is happening on the ground. The through the office of Kalash, a bit the war in Nigeria is now some of you are paying their money. It has not come as said. Everything we have said has come to pass. And of course, we very seriously with our mission to be rapid. It is very sad that our work will not allow peace reign. They will continue to present as of the North to subjugate expression of other. That is why Yoruba people on Facebook in Nigeria will devote their time to make sure that we pray to people violate their faith. Facebook, very sad indeed. When I started today, the number of that I saw the very first minute was 1,000 people, now 207. The Facebook is actually removing people or stopping them from listening to this very broad evil campus. I'm going to look out about the don't say APC. It's corruption. Nigeria praying. I saw the price. The price paid for not to the that is the only. So you are the no before stricken of that police jail. And you seven not fast behind the of the cemetery. Police in the house. He died. In the question of his of crime. First, I guess he was convicted of embezzling 400 naira, which is one something million. Can change to this looters. Chicken. I'm sorry. Only improve. So they also the run. Only not from where money and for given to the campaign. Not that he's money like some of the president. Let what he did here and you be wild. Those are not corrupt, but how do Dangote make money? Dangote is a front for money laundering. Don't you all know that? What was he doing before he became a millionaire? What was his business before? So if you can't I know him very well. What was he doing before he became a millionaire? Do it. That's one thing. No. He was check 400 million, which is about 1.1 million in this office. Nobody can speak. Of course, people can speak him. Nobody can. Because they are puppets of reality. I don't say anything because I don't offend me. And my money. They can speak. As they have frightened and cowed of you into submission. Not one after the other. One after the other. All church when in their I think no. That's why we say one and that's not you. Some born GK informed Zeke in those days. The only thing that can save you is Biafra. Your own thing is your own thing. Our thing is our thing. Biafra is your own. Nigeria is our own. And we know what happens when you begin to use those terms to describe anything you have. You know you have nothing. When you say it's our own, you know you have nothing. When something is my own, of course, you are in possession of it. Today, whilst they are diving your attention with slaughter upon slaughter of the innocent, they are picking up your people one after the other. One after the other. And imposing the likes of Hope Uzodinma on you. Because they know we are very foolish. We say it is the will of God. People are so hungry that their brain no longer functions very well. I have said this before and I'll keep saying it. There is something wrong with the brain of Africans. Every best broadcast, I keep saying it. Go and we should look at ourselves very well. Something wrong with us. You are telling me that if you have friends that floated 4 terror groups, IPOB is think peaceful and everywhere is on fire. You see, every day is IPOB is the problem. Now one is have 5 terror groups. I said 5 terrorist groups. And they're telling you that they're entitled to rule Nigeria. It's their turn to rule. They must continue ruling. They gave you 5 terror groups slaughtering you in your kitchen. As you sleep, they come, they slit your throat. And some people are just sheepishly, you wake up in the morning, you go to work like an idiot, come back in the evening, you digest the news from the fake platforms and OV. You have no conscience. You don't think for yourself. Absolutely not. Any rubbish the channel to absorb and you hook, line, and sinker. Every day you diminish yourself further. Every day you reduce your standing as a human being. Every day you gravitate more and more towards the animal kingdom because you cannot reason. That is why petroleum comes out of the ground in our land. We do not see it. They take it to the north. They see it. They make Dangote billionaire. They make Alakeja billionaire. They have billionaires all over the place. There is no billionaire, oil billionaire in Biafra land. Not one single soul. And the people of southern, few of them, will be saying, oh no, it is oil. You don't see it. You're an ordinary pipeline. You are a non-entity. You're a thing on the landscape. Who did this work? I have no idea. I'm glad that today, because of the work that we have done Washington DC, because of the work we continue to do at the capitals of the world, because of the work that these very great families, IPOB, continue does. The Washington Post, in fact, New York Post have not recognized that there is a problem in the zoo called Nigeria. They said that it was fair to compel travel to Nigeria last week to see for ourselves the simmering strength parts of Africa's biggest and most populous country do not stand by idly. The book of Leviticus commands, when the blood of your neighbor is being you do not stand by. 1966, when people were being slaughtered, Christians in Middle Belt stood idly by and was watching. I was even clapping. They did rail block, not road block, in the middle. Then to every passenger train coming down from the north. They segregate Igbo people from the rest and they slaughter the Igbo people. Today they are being killed. You see how funny this life is. As they say, what goes around comes around. Everybody now is being affected. There is one thing I expect the likes of Obasanjo to rise up and say. The likes of T.Y. Danjuma that killed Aguiyi, they've not used the right words. Rather than walking around fooling yourself saying you're praying for peace in Nigeria, just come and say, I'm very, very sorry. We killed the innocent in 1966. We killed the innocent between 1770. We shed blood, 5 million people for nothing. Biafrans are innocent. And may God forgive us. That is the sort of prayer I expect them to be praying every day. Not telling you that is one Nigeria. Let's pray for Nigeria to be one. Because where the zoo is today, where by the grace of Elohim, IPOB have pushed the zoo to, there is no return. No coming back. The zoo is gone. As I preach, you write it down on a piece of paper. The zoo is gone. Never ever come back. All of you that you say, oh, we are Christian, we are this, you quote the Bible. I am quoting what Americans said. Some religious leaders from America came to the zoo. They said, do not stand idly by when the blood of your neighbor is being spilled. That is what IPOB have stood on. Or should I say, continue to stand upon. That is why we are as objective as possible. If you do what is right, we praise you. If you misbehave, of course, we tell the world who you are. Do you know what they said? The Americans, when they came to the zoo a few days ago, they said that blood is flowing like a river through Africa. But I'm asking the US ambassador, why would he come all the way from America to Nigeria to chronicle the horrors and atrocities of Fulani people against the innocent? What is your job as an embassy? Does it mean that all the dispatch you've been sending to State Department doesn't contain all these things? This is what New York Post is reporting, that blood is flowing like a river. I'm saying it for those who wake up Monday morning and go to work and pretend this is our country, this is our Nigeria. That even the white people that created you, Nigerians, they see rivers of blood in the damnable British colonial experiment called Nigeria. But you cannot see because you're blind. You cannot say it because you are black, to be honest with you. I'm being very honest. You know, we are a bit daft, we black people. Very, very daft indeed. That is the truth. And our daftness is showing. It is now taking white people from America to come and tell us that we're in a mess. Very sad indeed, isn't it? Do you know what they said? Who are the people doing the killing in Nigeria? I want you to look at your neighbor, your friend tonight and ask them, who are the people actually doing the killing in Nigeria? Is it IPOB? Is it Biafran people? Is it Yoruba people? Is it Bini people? Who are the ones actually doing the killing in Nigeria? You will all find out that those doing the killing, they are all from one place, from one region. Every terror group you know today in Africa is from these same people, these Fulani people. And you are all pretending, you are blind, you cannot see the truth. Hey, it's IPOB, we need to do something. Hey, this IPOB. The people slaughtering you, you cannot see them. Do you see how foolish the devil has made all of you? The devil has made all of you very foolish. Very, very foolish and blind. And you're paying with your lives, aren't you? Of you. They said that dozens of victims shared accounts of almost incomprehensible suffering. Is it all the disappearances? The police will stop you on the road and take you. They will be still in detention for no reason. In Nigeria, anybody can arrest. They arrested in Owerri for no reason. No hand in a crime they claim were perpetrated by some people. They just see you on the road and they take you. Go and tell your family to bring 250,000, and that's the end of it. It is one. Trump called it a shithole. I think it was kind. The place is a hellhole. It is awful. To say you are a Nigerian is the greatest. I don't know. It's the greatest idiocy going at the moment, I presume. The greatest idiocy. For anyone, after seeing what is happening, you say, I'm a Nigerian, let's pray for Nigeria. That is why I keep asking God, in my next life, I don't want to come as a black person. I'm better off as a tree in the forest. At least when they cut me down, they can use me as center table or use me as a chair. I'll be useful. The way some of us reason, to be quite honest with you, I won't blame them if they come back again and start slavery all over, to be honest with you. Our reasoning actually stinks. Boko Haram is from Fulani. It's Fulani creation, created by Buhari, the late dead Buhari, buried in Saudi Arabia. I will keep telling you this all the time. You know it is the truth. Of course, as our dear father said, Paya de Banjo, all of them know that Buhari is dead. So you're telling me that even you feel so much fear in a useless Nigerian that even when Buhari is gone, ordinary Abaki, they're afraid of him. They're afraid of Buratai. They're afraid of Mugunu. They're afraid of is it the Garuba Shehu? That one that looks like a tortoise, not a Gambe. They're afraid of him. So even when the so-called hardened general is no more around, people have been so scared. Nigerians have been so terrorized, especially Yoruba media, Yoruba journalists, that they're afraid of Abakari, that they cannot speak the truth, which is this man who cannot speak Fulfude anymore. This man who no longer speaks his local dialect in Fulani. Are you sure it's the same Buhari that was here before? They dare not ask. Instead, the Yoruba journalist will collect money, put in his pocket, and be writing rubbish. Do you see that we are surrounded by evil? I speak the truth. If I'm lying, but you all know I'm speaking the truth. A 9-year-old girl told this American delegation how they were watching terrorists murder her parents. A 9-year-old girl. They used machete to slice them to pieces in Nigeria. And somebody will travel to Europe. I'm a Nigerian and I'm proud. I'm a Nigerian. I say, do you have no shame inside you? Do you have no shame inside you? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. A pastor whose church had been destroyed twice met with this same delegation after negotiating the release of 2 female parishioners kidnapped by Fulani bandits while going to a Christmas celebration. When, you know, some of you may be wondering why are these things coming out now. They are coming out because of IPOB. We are in America. And we did a lot of work, a lot of job, I'm telling you the truth. A lot of work. Sensitizing and informing American lawmakers, clergy, right across America. I need you tomorrow. I don't know what this IPOB is doing. But all of a sudden you can see it. As a result of our diplomatic offensive, the whole world now knows that Nigeria is a complete and utter mess. That was why when Jubril met Jubril al-Sudani, when Abba Kyari, I should say, met the new American ambassador through Jubril, they said, don't listen to those people. They're only presenting side of the story. What is not balanced. They tell you that they're marginalized and you believe them. These are the facts on the table. Because of IPOB, now the whole world have seen the zoo for what it is. A monstrous creation by Britain. And Britain think they will have peace. I told you before, Britain can never have, they think they can have peace. They think they can deceive the monkey, those black monkeys from Africa and get away with it, but they can't. I'm a British citizen, of course, and I'm a man in every sense of the word. I feel but there are monsters within. There are monsters within. A 9-year-old girl, because of your watched her parents being sliced to death because of one Nigerian. Had Nigeria not existed, do you think all this nonsense would be happening? Of course it won't happen. My submission to the US government is this. If you want to stop the bloodshed in Nigeria, you must ask for a referendum to be conducted. Let's see who would want to be a Nigerian. Conduct a referendum, let us see. I know that the lazy people who depend on oil for everything, from toothpick to toothpaste, I know they will, so we must have access to our oil. That is the only thing stopping them. People are being kidnapped every day. People, Fulani terrorists, set up checkpoints near a police station. People will go there, they will kidnap, they will kill them. Near a police station. Who is the police commissioner? Is a friend. Arrest those people, they will tell you, no, don't touch them. Order from above, order from Abuja, release all of them. And I keep asking you, how many, all these killings going on, how many times have you heard that there is a Fulani man standing trial for murder in Nigeria? None. But Oli Sametu is in jail. Okam is in prison. And you still believe in one Nigeria? May the good Lord have mercy upon your souls. Do I keep on recounting what happened? But I'm very, very happy that New York Post captured everything. And I'm now reporting it for the American audience, enlightened, conscientious audience to read. People wonder why God blessed white people. Do you know why God blessed them? Because at least no matter how evil they are, after all said and done, they have conscience. That is the difference between white people and black people. The thing about us that we have no soul, we have no conscience. Our wickedness, we are so wicked that we're even wicked to our own selves. It is now taking a white man, or should I say a group of white people, to come down to Africa, to come down to the zoo, to tell the zoo animals that please, terrible things happening in your country. A place where self-defense is a crime, only in the zoo. You can read up on it if they want to. It is everywhere. It is not hidden. How Fulani people, let us forget all this tag of terrorism. These are people seeking to extend their attention by killing, pillaging, destroying, raping, and maiming people through fear, because it has worked. Fulani used fear to subdue the Yoruba race. Fear. They subdued them. Let's hope that Amotekun will redress all of that nonsense. Used fear to suppress the Yoruba race, conquered them, subdued them, and made them to support evil for very many years. For very many years, the Yorubas were supporting their evil. They didn't know it was going to come to them. And today it has come to them. And they have formed Amotekun to say that what IPOB have taken along is actually not factual. Correct. You will tell that our people slaughtering Judeo-Christian place that we have learned something. Of course we have not. Let me tell you the irony of this whole thing and the saddest part of it all. Do you know that Burata said, Burata, the funny Bruno man, who said that people should copy him as general. Lord have mercy. Do you know what they're planning to do? They said they're coming to Ebonyi to recruit mercenaries that will go and fight Boko Haram in the north. But in Ebonyi, you have 3 military barracks in Ebonyi. You have one in Ohafia. You have one in Onisha. You have one military barrack in Obinze. You have one in Asa. You have one at Ungwa High School. You have one at Obehe. You have 4 in Iguacha. No, these are army formations. These are military barracks staffed with Fulani people. They won't set them to the north. They went to their slave state, Ebonyi, to go and recruit people that will fight Boko Haram. And some of us don't have any brain. They are going to Ebonyi because they want to deplete our numbers. They take you to the north. They tell Boko Haram where you are. They will come down and kill you. And now they will bury you in the north. They won't bring your body back to the village. Yeah, they will bury you in the north. So that when they march into Ebonyi, there will be no difference. Why have they chosen Ebonyi State? Because they know IPOB is there. So they are hoping to use money to entice us. Let us bring money. Dave Umahi, tell your people, let them come and join. We'll pay them. They can go to the north and fight. They don't know that the people confronting Fulani headsmen in Ebonyi State is loyal to Nnamdi Kanu, not to Dave Umahi. They don't know. They don't understand that. They are loyal to IPOB. They don't understand it. They will very soon. The same thing I said to Southeast governors. South. None of you can form anything without IPOB. You cannot. If you call a meeting to recruit people, I will announce it on air. Nobody should go there. If you go there, you will not see anybody. Then the world will know who commands the people on the ground in the east. Let them try if they want to. Let them try. Then we'll tell them who commands the people on the ground in the east. That is why Buratai's mission will fail. We are not hungry people. We are IPOB. Our life is dedicated towards restoring Biafra. And for all, free. Where freedom will reign forever and ever. Not like any US African country. I keep saying it all the time. There is no country in Africa that is functioning properly. Biafra will be the first country in Africa that will function properly, like a civilized society. That is why Buratai's mission in Ebonyi will fail. Your own people are the ones who are fomenting trouble. You are the bandits, you are the terrorists, you are the killers, you are the murderers. You now want to come to peaceful Biafra land to come and recruit people to go and fight for you in the north. Can you believe such utter garbage and nonsense? It's happening because our people are very hungry. Same thing I'm saying tonight. Because some people are using this Buratai's method to come into IPOB by forming groups within IPOB. If you know whoever is responsible for the group called Hardcore, go and tell that very person that their days are numbered. There is no group within IPOB, no group of people. It's impossible. No rubbish like Hardcore, no nonsense. The same thing that Buratai is doing is what they plan to do in IPOB by infiltrating, forming groups, little groups here and there with fancy names. All that rubbish ends tonight. I have given instructions to our volunteers. If any idiot is as good as calling himself or herself a Hardcore from tomorrow morning, you will see what will happen to you. We are one IPOB, one family, indivisible under God. No name within, no faction, no cabal, no group. Just one IPOB, only one, not two, not three, not one. Anybody identifying him or herself with any set of people called Hardcore from tonight, you desist. If by tomorrow you continue, whatever happens to you, you will take it that way. Buratai is in Ebonyi State trying to recruit people. The same people they are killing. So when you deplete our numbers in Ebonyi, then IPOB can no longer fight Fulani headsmen. Do you know how many people we have lost in Ebonyi State since September of last year? Some do not know. Because white newspaper haven't carried it yet. Or channels have not reported it yet to you. That's why you don't know what's going on in Ebonyi. We are locked in a very big war of attrition with Fulani invaders in Ebonyi. They have now gone to Enugu. We'll meet them in Enugu very shortly. We'll meet them in Enugu. Very, I'm telling you, watch this space. We'll confront them in Enugu very shortly. And then you hear the story. And they will run from Enugu as well. Or maybe this time around, Abakari will come to recruit Enugu youths to go and fight Boko Haram in the north. What did Biafrans do that they said no Biafran can ever be the president of Nigeria? Jonathan was an accident, please. That's why he couldn't win the next election. A pure accident. So let's not even go there. What asking this very evening is this in Biafran, because it's morning for some people, afternoon for some, and night for some other people as well. Or morning, as the case may be, depending on where you are. What is it? What is the crime? I use an Igbo man as an example. Why an Igbo man or woman cannot be the president of Nigeria? But people who generated 5 terror groups, they have automatic tickets to presidency, courtesy of the British government. Very sad indeed, isn't it? Very, very sad. Buratai is wasting his time. Anybody working with him are all wasting your time in Ebonyi, because there will be nobody from Ebonyi going to the north to go and fight. Nobody can fight Boko Haram and leave our borders porous and vulnerable that the Janjaweed may come in and take us over. It can never ever happen, not now, not in the future, not ever. The same rubbish that others are trying to do in IPOB, telling me we are called hardcore inside IPOB. Hey, God forbid. Inside IPOB, you have another group called hardcore. Inside, once you're under oath, you're hardcore already. Once you're under oath, you are one of us. So why do you have to identify yourself? There is no other group that exists within that. It is impossible. Absolutely impossible. No other group within. If you like, you try. And an example with you. Next time you mind your business. You can go and try all that rubbish in Ohaneze. Have you seen what I have done to Ohaneze? Uche Okuku is a traitor. Uche Okuku is a traitor. I used to see him as a brother before. He's from Ikwere. We are all the same Igbo people. We know that very well. But he is a traitor. You have seen the way that Fulani used him to infiltrate Ohaneze. He was made the Secretary General of Ohaneze. As stupid as Ohaneze were before, they even became more stupid with Uche Okuku as the secretary. He's been expelled, but he has some brown envelopes, so he will keep issuing press statements and the media will keep carrying it. That is what they are trying to use this hardcore to do within IPOB. They become part and parcel of IPOB, and in the end, what happens? They start using counter command. Look at Uche Okuku. Supporting Hope Uzodinma, supporting every Fulani agenda just because of money. He wants a good life. These people know what leadership is all about. They understand what sacrifice is all about. They have no clue, they have no idea. That is why Ohaneze is rudderless today. That is why they have no direction. That is why they have no purpose. That is why they have no meaning. The leadership of Ohaneze was bad. But Fulani Caliphate needed somebody to do their work for them. They took Uche Okuku and gave him some cash. So they're talking like the idiot that he is. Go and check out his press statements. It is in support of terrorists from the north. This was the nonsense Ohaneze brought on itself because it does not understand the meaning of discipline. In IPOB, we do. There is no other group in IPOB. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. If you like, you try tomorrow morning. Write in any forum that you're hardcore. We will set an example with you that others will learn from. Even France, as of today, now recognize that I salute the French ambassador. I must say this. His name is Jerome Pasquet. The British High Commissioner never said this. Some of you know the truth, but I will tell you. For every barrel of oil that Nigeria sells from Biafra land, Britain gets 13. Write it down on a piece of paper. For each barrel of crude oil that Nigeria lifts and exports, Britain gets 13 for free. That is why Britain would never allow Nigeria to break. But I'm saying to Britain that you're not God. If you cling on to Nigeria, hoping that your enslavement of Biafra land will suffice, then you are grossly mistaken. The God in heaven will destroy Britain. Write it down on a piece of paper. As I speak, you write it down on a piece of paper. What is today's date again? Today's the 9th day of February 2020. Write it down. If it continues, this very devilish colonialism going on with the help of their partners in Biafra land. Every single barrel of crude oil you lift from Biafra land, every one single barrel you lift, Britain collects 13 barrels of oil. That is why they cannot speak. The American ambassador has been bribed to the point that she doesn't know her left from her right anymore. But the French that speak, don't French have interest? They have ELF, petroleum company. No matter what you say about them in relation to other countries in West Africa, at least sometimes they speak the truth. Because if you make yourself stupid, kids will play with you. If everybody, should I say every nation around the world, guard the economy selfishly, but Africa don't do that. If you don't, people will come in. As I gave this analogy a while ago, I said in our body there are bacteria and pathogens seeking to a blessed day. The job of the white blood cells in your body is to fight those pathogens, to fight all those alien bodies, and to try and keep you alive. If your white blood cells shuts down, which is what HIV/AIDS does to the body, it will allow you to become invaded, not infected, by various viruses and bacteria, and you die. That's how life is. You have to be on guard all the time. So if you're so foolish from Africa that your country doesn't know basic economic interest and protection of national interest, then it's their fault. People always seek to take advantage of you. France have spoken. The ambassador of Nigeria has spoken. What he said that there is a fine sustainable solution to insecurity in Nigeria, especially in Fulani North. That the country itself is not doing enough to subdue insecurity and terrorism. Do you know why? Because the people you're asking, it's just like asking Dracula to be in charge of a blood bank. You know, Dracula, oh, please, you see this, Dracula will say yes. Dracula asking Dracula to be in charge of blood bank. It's not possible. Asking Akari, the support that formed Boko Haram, that formed ISIS, to and you are talking rubbish. These are the people from the ISIS. These are the people from the Haram. These are the people from the and from you should create a general power. It's a big industry, you know. It's one huge industry. They go to you, give us them they to use them who type who said we are the brothers? Who abandoned this? They fought the literal group in all stakeholders in government. Let's go another. I think it will be prescribed. Some of them have heard that in an the other thing, terrorists, they invited them in Anambra State. I'm sure some of you you support Obiano, or don't you? Terrorists, those killing our people in our land, to come to a meeting. IDOB should be proscribed. And you're telling me that some of us are normal? You're telling me that you're telling me that we are sensible people? Some of us are not. We are not. There's a workshop, not workshop where they gather together to talk. You know, the same talking shop they have all the time. You know, they've been talking about no electricity, no good roads for 60 years. They're still discussing the same issue till today. What they are doing, talking about addressing rural insecurity and violence in northwestern Nigeria, when people themselves are the bandits. They are searching for common ground, always seeking. Let us not allow Nigeria to break. Should Nigeria break, this all that Britain is thing for free, it won't Because let me tell you another you don't know following Brexit. If Britain is oil Biafra, Britain become bankrupt months, the economy will be devastated within months. So what is sustaining? They don't manufacture anything. The only thing in the British economy is the money they steal from Biafra land, the resources they steal. That's all. Of course we do. And that is why we tell you the truth. They keep organizing themselves. Pastoral this. They are talking, they want to keep the zoo one. Keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done. Even saying it, do not understand why Britain wants Nigeria to be one. Get people be in charge. Because the only thing that matters to the Fulani is to be in charge of the zoo. Their backwardness, their primitivity, and their stupidity. As long as they still have an amount of oil they want on a daily basis, you talk about you. Simple as that. But it's important to speak the truth. Because it's spoken all the time. They can ask many things that you can ask them not today, not tomorrow, not ever. That's it all the time. What is a waste of time? A complete and total time. This that zoo and come back from break is possible across the part of the return. It's got right security. Now, you can remember, where is the office? The old boy was alive. The was alive. He said that you should pray for have you all that to tell you that dead is house not that anybody. Are you telling that the old boy is alive? This thing will be given in his own state that is same. Right? Was that all the they are to that is there. I can never okay. That is why I have. That is why I that you have recognized as his deputy president from the M of the Europe broadening. Is Academy here. I'm telling you that because no is real. Recognizes the president. Before dead now. What is happening in the zoo? You go to Kasama, you have bribe of them, especially the Democratic Party. They bribe them. Oh, no, Nigeria is a democracy. In a democracy, the chief of staff, the president is the president. Openly, it's not hidden. And people are pretending. Somehow they do not understand what is happening, do not know what is going on. Biafra land in everywhere, all the way to everywhere in radio this evening, on CHK, on FM, that is the FM. But to some people it doesn't matter as long as he's there. He's answering vice president. They call him His Excellency. He's Osibajo. He's from our state. He's our turn. Nothing matters. That is why white people are better than black people. I say it openly. If you like, I'm starting my tour of the world next month. I hope coronavirus will be gone by then. If you doubt question anything, I'm telling you, the way black people reason is flawed. I am a black man, but I'm telling you, the way we reason, the way we analyze things, there is something fundamentally wrong with our brain. There is something wrong with us. There is nothing wrong with our brain. I don't know how will open her mouth and say, once the security of Nigeria is structured or re-examined, the wife of the president, is now telling, oh my dear Lord, okay, what type of God made, what type of God created black people? I don't understand it. Are you telling me that Buhari is alive and Aisha Buhari wants security structure re-examined, the same woman who should be in Zaoza room? Have you forgotten? The same woman that the dead Buhari, Merkel, position is in the other room, in the bedroom, and to cook for him, not to be making police statements. The same Aisha is now talking without any hindrance. And people are saying Buhari is alive. Oh, yeah. Let us see what Aisha has to say. Because I'm telling you, whoever thought of putting that contraption together must be the lieutenant of Lucifer. Not be working hand in hand with the devil. Because not only is Nigeria a contraption, those who are within Nigeria, those who identify themselves as Nigerians, believe you me, I can never ever regard you as a human being. Once you say you're a Nigerian, to me, you are an animal. This news was carried by Daily Trust newspaper. The time now is 27 minutes past the top of the hour, wherever you are in the world. You know it's a live program. 27 past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are. That's what it is. The lady in Zaoza room is the one now telling you how to restore the city. And I'm asking, where the husband? She's a Muslim. She practices Islam. When the husband is talking, she shouldn't talk. First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, yesterday urged synergy among all security agencies to re-strategize the security structure to stem the rising case of terrorism in Nigeria. They have failed. And some people will say that Buhari is still alive. Mad people everywhere. She made the call at an international conference on state and security held at the Defense Academy in Kaduna. Buhari to go to the Defense Academy to speak. This is now the wife. She's part of the what I call the triumvirate of Faba Kyari, Aisha Buhari, and Buratai. That one's running the zoo. The other ones are in the Isafuntua and Lawal and the rest are in the background. All they do out of courtesy, they inform Bola Ahmed Tinubu and promise him presidency 2023. Don't worry, you get it. Just cover us. Let us keep going. That is why they have covered the greatest fraud of all time. That Buhari is no more. The wife made the call at Nigeria Defense Academy. Is she an army officer? Is she holding any major policy portfolio in the government? The answer is no. Just the first lady that said even her office doesn't exist. Before Buhari died, he said that her office doesn't exist. No office of first lady. Go and ask. Go and search. It is there in the papers. Today, she has her own crest. First lady of Nigeria. And the baboons and the monkeys that Buhari said would be soaked in blood are today really soaked in blood, isn't it? And they are over it. Aisha is making both security in the country that husband alive. Some people are indeed very dead. No wonder they came to Africa and harvested us as best mango tomatoes, harvested us in our stupidity and took us to Caribbean to go and work for free for 250 years. Any group of people that reason the way Nigerians reason should be made to work for free all over the world. I'm telling you the truth. Slaves are better than them. I'm talking about security in Nigeria, and you're telling me the husband is alive. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It's a travesty. A complete and utter travesty. Somebody said that, not me. Somebody said that in the present setup in Nigeria, the public face of the administration is Buhari's, while the hand that rocks the system belongs to Abba Kyari, as Senate president, from daily trust, which is for an still sheepishly and sheepishly looking. On this Yogi. I don't know what is wrong with black people. I don't know what is wrong with them, their brain. I don't know where they got from. Maybe from Chimps. Unbelievable. The face of Buhari and hands of Kyari. And I want this thing to put everywhere the world can see it. You know, one priest was upset. They say, oh, he's insulting. Why would I insult you? You are foolish. I will insult you. If you're stupid, I will insult you. If you do something nice, I will praise you. That's how I am. This is, in fact, it was published by Daily Trust, date February 23rd, 2020 at 1:09 a.m. The caption, or should I say, the headline is Face of Buhari, Hands of Kyari. For those who are too stupid to comprehend. My fellow black people today, I'm insulting them. In case you're a white person and you're listening, I'm insulting us because we are foolish. We are black and we are foolish. We do not reason very well. That is a fact of the matter. That is why crude oil will be coming out of the ground and we don't have any good roads. We have no electricity. That is why crude oil will come out of the ground. We export the crude oil and then import refined petrol. Anybody who does that, any group that do not deserve to be called human beings. The fact of life. You are a mother, for instance. You gave birth to a child beside a clean flowing spring, clean water, and your child is crying, thirsty. You cannot stretch out your arm to fetch simple water to the baby. If you had given birth to this child on top of Mount Everest, it's understandable. You gave birth to a child beside a free-flowing water, clean water. To stretch out your hand to scoop up water to feed that baby is there for you. Oh, where do I get water? Somebody can bring your water. There is a river flowing nearby, a spring, clean water. You couldn't stand to scoop up some water for the child to drink. In that process of your stupidity, the child died, and then start blaming God in heaven for you in the life of your child, of your baby. But there was a stream flowing by. All you could have done is to just stretch out your hand and pick up water. That is why in Africa, everything from iron to bronze to everything. For us, despite our years of engineering, PhD, everywhere, I'm a doctor, PhD. We cannot convert any of these things to serve our own needs. It will take a white man to travel everywhere. Chinese to come and tell us, oh, this is iron ore. You have to smelt it and do this. Use it to build the panels of a vehicle and all these things. But he's there. I have engineers. And you want me to protect it? You must be drunk. You must be saying, and not until we learn how to reason, until black people learn how to reason, I can never respect you. Not now. No, ever. Face of Buhari, Hands of Kyari. That is the title of the, should I say, the question of who actually runs the complex machinery of the federal government of Nigeria has long been on the lips of citizens in various walks of life, because I told them that Buhari is dead, and it is true. They know that Abba Kyari is running the place, but the hitman they have is time. If you send the detachment of SARS or army to go and kill you and your family, so everybody is terrified of this Fulani gang, this Fulani, mafiosi, this gang of killers and murderers. And to divert your attention away from the truth, from their embezzlement and their criminality, they floated 5 terror groups at the same time. 5 terror groups. The only place in the world with 5 terror groups is Nigeria. The only place 5 indigenous, homegrown terror groups. And some of you, it's our turn in 20, our turn in 58. It's my turn of my village to produce the governor. It's the turn of that village to produce the deputy. And you want me to respect you as a black person? You are certifiably insane. I want you to know, I want the world to know that we raise as black people to Africa and took us as slaves to the West Indies. Go and sugar cane, cotton and tobacco plantations. I want our people to understand that those reason the way we now, they never survive. Our own way out to reason properly the POP way, see the truth and you speak, how you find the consequence. For this shall set free. Real IPOB is telling you there is also God that you want to do. He refuses. It's not taken away. It doesn't matter what we do, what Facebook does, what our satellite provides. It doesn't matter who the zoo have bribed to stop us. They know our enemies understand that this very movement, this very IPOB is unstoppable. You cannot stop us. The hands of what is it? The face of Buhari, the hands of Abba Kyari running the zoo, and everybody's quiet about it. Your main concern is IPOB, and they're killing you. Your main concern is IPOB. From daily trust, the face of Buhari of Buhari. That people everywhere. It is only the man I call a father. I wish every Yoruba person like him. A man with integrity and honor. Very brave. Very brave. Do you want to know what he said? He said that Buhari is in charge. Buhari is not in charge. He said this is from higher than Buhari is in charge. He spoke to a publication. He said, unbelievable. Why does everybody keep Buhari is in charge? This is from Paya. Why does everything that Buhari is in charge? That is not false, which shows you that Buhari is completely not in charge. Remember when personnel of the EFCC and intelligence service clashed at the gate of one of them? What happened? When security operatives clashed in front of the assembly and the vice president, what happened? I no longer take any action from this government. People, military, come be killed, and he keeps on claiming he's in charge. This is at least people now realize, understand that we speak the always, without fear and without any favors. We speak the truth. Buhari is that is why the killing, the barbarism, the primitivity is deepening on a daily basis. Anybody telling you that the world can solve it is their dream. Only solution is dissolution. Referendum and dissolution. Nothing else will work. Nothing else will work. If you remain in Nigeria, you will die in Nigeria. You will perish in Nigeria. As I speak, you write it down on a piece of paper. I am very happy that at least Olufalaye as well have now spoken. He said that the Amotekun is the arrival of Yoruba freedom. He did not mince words. Amotekun is the arrival of Yoruba freedom. But when we floated BSS, it was our own people that said ban them, kill them, jail them, shoot them, invade Afarubu. Our own people. But look at least I give Yorubas credit for this. Olufalaye have spoken. Amotekun is the arrival of freedom. He used the word freedom. because they want to be free. While Yoruba is rejecting the inclusion of Mieti in Amotekun, in the governor's lodge to a meeting on how to kill our people in Anambra State. Do you now see the difference? Do you see the difference between them and Biafrans? People who are going to like about that is when they come together to decide on a political matter, execute with clean precision. That is exactly what they are. Will continue to do for the future. I glance my hand at Amotekun is here to stay. It is not going away at all. And as all these things are happening, in our Delta Biafra land, our people have sought out into solution. And I told you before, some of you don't understand what is going on. I told you that they have policemen everywhere, Fulani police commissioners, in order to engender their program of Fulanization. Listen very carefully to this. According to Vanguard, on the 22nd of February 2020, what did Vanguard say? Residents of some communities that have the state commissioner, what's his name? Has a no from the north, not from the north, from Arewa. Accusing him of compromise and the man he handled last week's spotted attacks on this United Kingdom, the local government area of the state by armed Fulani headsmen, killed people. Fulani headsmen came to Delta State, Biafra land, and killed 8 people. The commissioner of police in that state is a Fulani man. He did not arrest any of them. Of course not. He actually came out to accuse of spreading rumors and yes. Unbelievable. The indigents of Agadama, Ohoro, and other communities, farming villages in the kingdom had over the years lamented the incessant attacks on them by armed Fulani headsmen who brought their cattle to the area for grazing. This in Delta. Former Bendel, former Niger Delta, South, from South. I don't know the name they'll give them next year. What is happening in Delta State? They're killing people. These are some of them. It's not some of them. Most are fake names. Saying we are Delta. We are not part of Biafra. Now they're slaughtering them. Who did they run to? They ran to a Fulani commissioner of police. Why do you think they make their people commissioner of police everywhere? Why do you think they have many barracks everywhere, staffed by Fulani officers? So that when they are killing you, when they come to your village and they massacre everybody, when you run to the police, tell you you're arrested for peddling information. That's what is happening. That is why they don't want any police. That is why they don't want any state policing that will make the police commissioner accountable to people of the state. Of course not. He is accountable to a Fulani man in Abuja. And people carry on every day as if there is nothing wrong. These are some of the things we are going to highlight in our march. Our 1 million man march in Washington on June the 20th. I will be in Washington. I will speak at exactly the same place that most great people have spoken in the past. Not that I'm seeking to put myself in their position. Of course, I'm not worthy. But we shall be in Washington. And everybody is invited. Everybody. If your ethnic group is being persecuted, if you're a Christian, if you are a Judeo-Christian, if you are an ethnic minority in the north, if you're receiving end of march with us in Washington on the 20th, and you see what will happen. We are going to the doorstep of the lawmakers in America. We are going to Capitol Hill itself. We have secured our permit. The DC police said we can march. Maryland police said we can march. Virginia State Police said we can march. We are going to march on Washington. We are going to march on that very city. People should take time off work. Bring your children, bring your friends, bring your families. On the 20th of June 2020, we will lock down DC. They will know how come. They will know how strong we are. Even our dictators will know how formidable we are. That day we unleash the might of the Biafra movement upon this very earth, where it will continue to grow until Biafra is restored in our time. In our time, not next generation, but this very one that we exist in. Because the police commissioners that you have everywhere are answerable to Fulani people. It is their plan as they kill, as they pillage, as they slaughter from town to town, village to village, hamlet to hamlet. You report to the nearest barracks or nearest police station as a Fulani man. You are wasting your time. Your people are dying. When you try to set up a group to try to defend yourself, they say that what you're doing is wrong. It is not according to the Constitution. That is how evil they are. They have gone everywhere. That is why they keep gerrymandering election results, so to speak. Keep imposing puppets to frighten everybody else around them. That if you do not comply with what we are telling you, then you will suffer it. That is why you have cowards as your governors, and that is why the death is continuing on a daily basis. All you can do to cry and lament, as I told you, you will. I said I warned people in that zoo that you will cry, but nobody will listen to you. It's in one of my broadcasts. You will cry, but nobody will listen to you. That is the price you pay for treachery, for betrayal of Biafra. Between 67 and 70, everybody is today suffering. Everybody will suffer. I said everybody will. They will. Until they come to their senses, until they realize that the only solution is separation. The only solution is separation. There is no other way to go out. As God continues to pray, for every day he's praying for Nigeria's unity. The same unity he said, there is no victor, no vanquish, we have won them. You know, Fulani him very well as a willing tool, made him a head of state, promoted him to whatever rubbish he was. That killing Biafra and killing Igbo people will somehow help him. He has no peace. He's running from place to place, saying you should pray for Nigeria. Pray for which Nigeria? Now that was formed by Britain. In fact, one of our brothers wrote what I would call an intelligent but deceptive article. I think he was trying to refer to, he was making reference to one of my books where I said that Nigeria is meaningless. Then he also wrote that he was suggesting that we answer Ikenga Republic, that Biafra is also meaningless. And I couldn't stop laughing when I read his piece. I couldn't stop laughing because he forgot one thing about our people, that every name that we bear has a meaning. I repeat, every name that we bear has a meaning. People are telling me, oh, but Biafra is named by Portuguese explorers. I said to them, you see how ignorant you are. I want you to go to the very ancient map of, I think, 1772. Then when the Portuguese came, they referred to people by their indigenous name. That is what the only thing that you will see there is Benin and Africa. And I have said it before, that before we settle with the name Biafra, there have been series of names before that, and I have the maps to prove them. Biafra, which is B-I-A-F-A-R, there was Biafraes, B-I-A-F-R-A-R-E-S, there was Biafra, and I have said this repeatedly on air. People do not listen The name of my village is Afara. If you put BI, which is come, it becomes Biafra. Because in my village, Afara means join together. There is Afara in Ikeduru in Imo State. There is also Afara in Abagana in Anambra State. Understand very clearly. Afara means come and join. The name Biafra simply means come and join. It has been in existence before anybody walked in the geographical space called Portugal. I have said it before that our ancestors are the very oldest people on the face of this very planet. That's why every language around the world, in every language, there is a new word in it. I said in every language that people speak, you find the same resonance in language. You see, let me put it to you this way so that you understand it very well. You know, even in England, or should I say in Britain, they have Mr. White and Mr. Black. The name is a common one. You can Google it if you want. The same guy we answer Okoji. Do you know that Fulani don't have the same? No other people does. Are you following what I'm saying? I just want to give you a very simple, clean example that our people are actually old. Everybody borrowed from the ancient Igbo Biafran culture. I said everybody on the face of this very earth, everybody. I'll give a very simple example. Even in the names that people bear. If you go anywhere else in West Africa and see people answering Wokocha, which is Mr. White, or Wokoji, Mr. Black, then don't believe me anymore. Now you understand me? I think that will be a lecture for another day. Biafra is our name from Biafra, from the Afar region of Ethiopia. I won't get to. I've lectured on this thing many times before. There were 3 migrations to Biafra land. One came directly before the Exodus from Egypt and came all the way from Sudan through Niger, through Yoruba land, into the land of Biafra. They settled around Enugu State. And as a symbol of their settlement, replicated the same pyramid that they built in Egypt. The same pyramids that you have in Giza. You have it in Sudan, in Enugu State. Are you listening to me? That is the only place where you have the same pyramids that were built in Egypt. Only in Biafra land. Only in Enugu. Are you following me very carefully? There was a wave of migration that came through Ethiopia that settled at the Afar region and continued to migrate until they got to Biafra land. Then there was another 3rd wave when the house of God fell near where I actually live in Israel. This same place, it's very interesting. The same place where I live, where I stay in Israel, the same place, the 3rd and final wave of ancestral land comes from. It's God's territory. If you go to his time, you see it there. The same red earth. The same red earth you find in Biafra, and the same, I said the same, is there till tomorrow morning. That is why every name that we bear, glory to God in heaven. We use our name to worship God in heaven. Well, we are someone to the Most High. No other place on this earth, apart from Israel and in Biafra land, do people worship God in heaven by the name they give to their children. But as these 3 waves we are coming, there are already those who were there. I have said this before. The original processors of palm oil. In other words, there are 4 heads that make up Biafra land. 4. The same way you have it in Idoma land. 4 market days in Idoma land. 4 heads. The Bijangos, the oldest, the ancient of the ancients, were there waiting, and they accepted this three waves that came in. From Egypt, from Abyssinia, and then from the Holy Land itself. Now you understand very carefully that Biafra is not an accident. It is something that has been there before time even began. You must understand this. Tell me which other people answer Nwokocha and Nwokoji. If you have them, Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Red, and all the rest of it. We have them in abundance. If you go anywhere else, when I was lecturing students, or when I won't say I was lecturing them, I was giving an address to students at Tel Aviv University. And somebody asked me, what is the proof that you have of the affinity between Israel and Biafra? I said, it is only in Biafra that you have proof that Jews actually built the pyramid in Egypt. And what do you exactly mean by that? As if you come to Enugu State, I will show you dwarf pyramid, exact replica of what you have in Egypt. How did they build it? With people just sat and built pyramid in Enugu State without knowledge of what's happening in it. You know, some people don't stay very well. You know, I don't mean the zoo. Zoo. That's what it does to their brain. Go on is praying. While we are marching relentlessly and mercilessly towards the restoration of Biafra. That I say it is the kingdom of heaven upon the very epicenter of creation itself. Zero longitude and zero latitude. The very center of beginning itself. Britain stole this very time and moved it 1 hour to the left and called it Greenwich Mean Time. And when I asked them, where is the zero, which is +1, which is 1 hour, of course. Longitude to the left. I asked them, in England, but where is the zero? At least 0 is the beginning of all numbers. You have 0, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Britain is 1, which is 1 hour to the left, or the same longitude with 1. I asked them, but where is the 0 latitude? Because we are, as you know, longitude from the North Pole to the Pole, and latitude runs from east to west around the globe. Going to the north, and also going to the polar regions, north to the south. And I asked them, so where is the of longitude? They said in Biafra waters. And where is latitude in Biafra? So that means that is the actual center behind itself, 0, from where universe itself began. In the land of the ancients, in our own waters, in the right Biafra. And they didn't kick me out of the class, actually, as a matter of fact. But I'm sure maybe that was the day they started to plan to clamp down anything to do with Biafra. They don't want humanity to know that we are the beginners of everything. The very beginning. That was why the pilgrims migrated all the way from the Holy Land of Israel. They kept walking. They transversed everywhere until they came to Biafra land. Once they crossed the Mambala River, they said, here we have landed. Where God in heaven said we must be. They landed there and said, here, I found my dynasty. And it is very Tumueri. And it doesn't change. It doesn't matter how you massage history. It's a fact. It is there, staring you in the face. Has any of you been to Aguleri before and see the marriage of the 2 trees? Have you seen it before? 2 trees sharing one root. 2 trees connected. You will see it with your 2 eyes. Never anywhere in the world has that ever happened before. I said nowhere on this earth. You have 2 trees sharing the same root. These are 2 huge trees, thousands of years old. Nowhere. Only in Biafra, the land of the ancients. And you have people that didn't go to school come to argue with us when they know nothing about what arguing about. Biafra is very old. It is real, older than Portugal itself. And that is a fact of life. Go on is praying whilst we are looking for Biafra. And there is nothing anybody can do about it because Biafra is going to come. This is really very well live and direct. This top of the at this very moment. It is 9 p.m. now, of course, in Biafra land. In Chad, according to BBC, they are executing Boko Haram members and terrorists. But in Nigeria, they're recruiting them into the army. They want to send them abroad to go and... In fact, I am warning... Let me also warn West. And warn you as well. They want what Abakari and Batan want to do is to authorize West. They claim they are giving them rehabilitation. Chad, they're executing terrorists, which is what you do. But in Nigeria, they are recruiting the army. The army is full. They now want to send them abroad. I want to let the world know that ISIS is used to plant terrorists all across you. It's exactly what Nigeria is trying to implement the work of ISIS by legitimately send abroad, claim that to study. I am running the US mission and the commission. That is what and of course, we have told our friends in Washington exactly what's going on. And they will deny them visas, they won't give them. They send them to Saudi Arabia. That's more on how to blow up human beings, on how to be. And that is the fact of life. All this amnesty for Boko Haram is a clever design scheme by the full and Janja with the free of terrorism, which is that to export terrorists abroad. Legitimately. Let no say that I obey it one day because that is what is going to happen. And as we are discussing, people don't understand in Nigeria, and I say to them that sometimes as a Nigerian, I do feel sorry for you. For a Nigerian, I feel sorry for you because, as I keep saying, and I will keep saying it, your stupidity, quite frankly, has no equal. Let me tell you this. In Nasarawa State North, in the Alamajiri North, there is a man called Governor Abdullahi Sule, who happens to be the governor of Nasarawa State. This is a publication by Zoo newspaper, so I am not telling you something was made up, something that was fabricated, or something that we just conjured up from thin air. No, not at all. In Nasarawa State, their governor is Abdullahi Sule. Do you know what he's crying about? He said there are influx of Alamajiri in Lafia. Influx, the state capital is Lafia. There is influx of Alamajiri in the state. He raised the alarm while receiving a report on the statistics from members of Quranic Research Association of Nigeria. In other words, Alamajiri is hand in hand with Quran, which is a break ground for terrorism in the zoo. These Alamajiri have come from Niger Republic, from Chad, from Northern Cameroon. Nobody knows where they come from, but once cross the border in Katsina and come into the zoo, you are Nigerian. So when I hear people, informed commentators, talking about we Nigerians fighting to save Nigeria, and I'm saying, are you fighting to save Nigeria that includes this Alamajiri? They're flooding in from the Sahel. They are doing street begging from, they are going to terrorism. They recite the Quran after they are to terrorism. That is what they do. And you are in the south, Nigeria, with Nigeria. Does that include have just come from Niger Republic and from Chad and from that is what they have on it. And people foolishly this, I'm sure they have now. This is about Igbo presidency. We are warning them. If you are coming for Igbo presidency or whatever presidency, you are wasting your time. We are warning you before time that you are wasting your time, energy, and effort. We are not interested in any stupid, ridiculous presidency. What we want is freedom. Not just freedom for Biafrans, but freedom for all people trapped in the demonic British colonial experiment called Nigeria. Nigeria is a curse. And if you do not end it, it will end you. It is either you end Nigeria or Nigeria will end you. It is as simple as that. Try and see what is happening. Those who were gleefully boasting that they had defeated Biafra in 1970, where are they today? That was our prayers. That tells you that what goes around comes around. It doesn't matter what you do, maybe because you and your family are somehow benefiting from the fraud that is the damnable zoological republic. Somehow you want Nigeria to, but I can assure you that Nigeria can never ever survive. It is impossible. The more you delay the dissolution and disintegration of the zoo, the more people will die. It is as simple as ABC. The more you delay, the more people will die. That is something that you ought to know. So you better kill Nigeria before Nigeria kills all of you. It will kill all of you, including those who are sponsoring them. You see our backyard, all these gangs that have brought death. And you see, Nigerians are very funny people. Despite Fulani incompetence, despite the fact that Fulani control their own terrorists that they themselves created, some people are still as if they are part of any civilized normal society. It is not possible. It is not possible. Absolutely impossible. I'm telling you, when I watch the telly or I look at people say, as a proud Nigerian, believe you me, what comes in my brain is the image of a monkey swinging from one tree to the other. I'm being very honest with you. I don't see them, I do not see them as human beings. I do not, because you cannot reason very well. You cannot think very well. Nigeria, my foot. Something that was created by a rogue, record from Hong Kong, came to your land. So that means that your ancestors never existed. They never existed. The white man, that's the world. They never existed. What was their name before the white man came? If you can answer that question, then you begin to realize how daft our reasoning is sometimes. A soldier goes berserk and kills fellow officers, of course. Such nonsense will continue to happen. What are they saying? This is the man that the world is saying, not the world, of course, I apologize. That they're saying somewhere in Sri Lanka, but they want to copy him. He is the template. Copy. Or that people should teach you, how do I put it, that Buratai is trying to copy his approach is very good. What he's doing is good. Do you know what he said about Boko Haram? Military power alone cannot defeat Boko Haram, says Buratai. These were the people who we are boasting. As I'm never tired of saying, I want to Sweden, the popular journalist in Sweden. And I said, no, they want the general. You know, what's his name again? To move a very clever Biafra in America. To get and they said he's a reformed, no-nonsense general. He reformed and Democrat. He's the one to deal with Boko Haram because he's a no-nonsense general. They will see. They have agreed that they cannot defeat. In other words, they cannot defeat the monster that they themselves created. And I don't know why Nigerians cannot call a spade a spade. You need to call a spade a spade. The people that brought death and mayhem, terrorism to Nigeria are the dead Buhari, Buratai, Abakiari, Mama and Daura, Issa Funtua, and the Sultan of Sokoto. These are the people that brought death to you. But you see them, the Sultan speaking at a Museum Center in Lagos on the need for coming together as a country. But they are the ones killing you. These are the fools killing you. They have come to enslave you. Because Britain told them that those people in the south, they are very foolish, you know. If you work hard, if you want to, which they are now doing, manipulate the governors, use money, do anything you can, you will get them. They are very foolish in the south. You colonize them, and that's what they're doing. Why do you think Hope Uzodinma is there and his supporters? Why do you think they're there? They have come to carry out the same Afonja mission in the east. Open the way. You saw them in the governor's law telling you who the emir of Mbise is going to be. The emir of Okigwe. In Imo State Governor's Lodge, Douglas House, the same office that Mbakwe used. That some people are there discussing who is going to the Supreme Islamic Council of Imo State. People are saying that Hope was at the march will be there. Then they Fulani Turime before, during, and after the war. Anyway, they know what they have now met in IPOB, and they know they cannot go anywhere. They cannot go anywhere. And as we are lamenting, there is no road between Onitsha and Enugu. No road that is passable in the entire Biafra land. You know what is happening in the north? Some of you Nigerians, I feel sorry for you. You will not read this news anywhere, but we have it. Do you know that your so-called federal government, led by Abba Kyari and the Fulani Cabal, they are building a 30 billion naira road to Niger Republic? They have not built a road in Nigeria, but they are building one to Niger Republic. The same kind of wandering, meandering Fulani tribe. Can you see it? No roads in your villages. You cannot go to your village peacefully, but they are building those to Niger Republic. And you are in one year saying we Nigerians, we need to get together and do this, or maybe do a revolution. We are in one Nigeria. Can you see what is happening? They are building those to Niger Republic, not fixing the ones that are in the zoo, crumbling and decaying. Unbelievable. The Federal Executive Council presided over by, they say it's President Muhammadu Buhari, whom I don't know how you can preside over FEC from a grave in Saudi Arabia. But on Wednesday, from his grave in Saudi Arabia, he presided over a meeting in Abuja and approved 30 billion for the construction of 2 roads from Sokoto and Jigawa states up to Republic. And you in one Nigeria. This is our country, this is our one Nigeria. Unbelievable. But we are here to expose the truth, and that truth must be spoken. As I said earlier, they have jailed Olisametu, not for stealing serious money. I think maybe they jailed him because the money wasn't enough. He was insulting corruption by accepting a check of 400 million naira only, and he's in jail. Actually, they sentenced him to 39 years in prison, concurrently to be run. They are using one man called Aban, another willing to of the north. They're using him, Aban. They have jailed Olisametu for 7 years. And that's not the end of it. We shall revisit this very case in time to come. He is not alone. We are, our thoughts are with him and his family. Very, very important. Because what is happening to us shouldn't happen. But when you have a leadership that have sold its conscience to the devil, that is what you get. When they come for you, they pick you off. The same thing that happened to Yoruba people after Ilorin fell into the hands of the Fulanis. They installed Emir in Ilorin instead of an Oba. From that day, they started to make use of Yoruba people. But today they have woken up. They have realized their mistakes and now they are fighting back. And I encourage them every step of the way. Freedom is for all. And as I have said before, so is oil and gas as well. And this is Radio Biafra. We have been on air now for, I think, approximately 2 hours. And the work we are doing is relentless, and we shall continue to do so. Let me also warn before we bring our program to a close this evening. Very important announcement that pertains to this registration and running of IPOB family worldwide. Let me make this abundantly clear this evening to all who are listening. In every country of the world, we have a national coordinator. That national coordinator represents me in that very country. Nobody, I repeat, nobody in IPOB has the right to dictate to a national coordinator what to do, because every national coordinator has a continental rep. And every continental rep sits on the DOS of IPOB, headed and chaired by Mazi Edoziem, who now reports to my deputy, Mazi Uchemefo, who reports to me in turn. If I want to know what is happening in a country, for instance, I ask the continental rep of that very country to tell me what is going on. If I have a message for the national coordinator, I relay it via the continental rep. That is the I do not want anybody in IPOB, senior officer or otherwise, to dictate to a national coordinator what he or she should or should. I'm drawing that very line today. Let national coordinators carry out their duties. If you want to find out what they are doing, you go through the continental rep. The continental rep will tell you. If you have to reprimand any national coordinator, you go through their line manager who happens to be a continental rep. I will no longer accept any direct or indirect interference in the running of any nation across the world where you have an IPOB family. Very, very important. Very, very important that we follow our procedures, our own rules. Very, very critical we do so. And my tour of Europe will be commencing very shortly. I'm sure it is next. We've not gone into next month yet. I will be touring Europe from April. And I understand there has been some last minute changes. I will also be in the Netherlands and Belgium as well. We need to strengthen the family there. Wherever you are around, I must commend you, the family, this very IPOB, for the wonderful work you have all been doing. We must forge ahead as one indivisible, unbreakable family. That is why both this generation and everyone to come after it will remember us. Because here on this very radio platform, this very radio Biafra, we maintain ceaselessly that Biafra is our religion. Here is where we propagate it. On this very platform is where we worship. Because Chukwukika Abiam Elohim in heaven is our God. I thank you very much for listening. From me, from here, it is good evening.